Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Inside Lowell Daily Pulse, the Friday, March 21st edition of the Daily Pulse, wrapping up another week here in the city of Lowell, and we're doing so with our friends from the Pod Squad. Mike Bacigalupo on the left, Michaela Hondras McCarthy, the Hypen, on the right. Batch and the Hypen, back to wrap up another week. I'm excited to have you guys here.
Good to be here.
Yay.
Yeah. You're very excited to be here, Michaela.
I feel like this is going to be a good one.
This one could be. We got a lot to talk about, as always. Lots of things happening here in the city of Lowell and the world around it, and we're here to keep our finger on the pulse of everything happening. We're going to get right to it with Batch on the Hypen. First, let me thank our Daily Pulse sponsors, Ray Booten, licensed realtor, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, certified appraiser in both of those states as well. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, a business, or a commercial property, Real Estate Ray Booten is your man. He's got a new listing in Burlington. Beautiful house, by the way. Better arrange a showing quickly. Website is realestaterayBooten.com. realestaterayBooten.com. Thank you as well to our friends at WellPoint. WellPoint, the only health plan offering healthcare benefits exclusively to Massachusetts GIC members. At WellPoint, your whole health is their whole point. Thanks to WellPoint for welcoming us here to the WellPoint studios. Thanks to Ray. We got a bunch of other sponsors to thank as well. But let's get right to it with Batch and Mick. And I want to start the show with a gift I have for you guys.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got a special gift for you guys.
I'm scared.
So hold on one second here as I reach underneath the table and
Oh, here we go.
Props. We love a prop.
the Pod Squad,
Golden pom poms.
also known as the Pom Pom Squad. We got some golden.
Where'd you get these?
Some Tom Golden Pom.
Oh my God. Where did you get these?
Amazon is a wonderful thing.
These are awesome.
Party City is going, and Chelmsford is going out of business.
Yes, I
Everything's
know.
70% off.
I was too lazy to go check, so I had the missus get on there. I said, but we need some golden pom poms
Yeah.
Wait, what was this?
for the Pom Pom Squad.
What was this extension? 4 years, or how many years is the extension?
3 years.
We need
3 more years. 3 more years. 3 more years.
go 3.
So anytime you guys say anything good about the city, if there's anything positive happening, please make sure you
I love these.
make sure you wave your pom poms. But we can make these a staple.
Can you get these? I could barely get these on my fingers.
He needs the big finger pop. Large.
Your fingers
large
won't fit in there?
No, look at it. I'm like, I think that's as far as they go.
I don't fit all the way either.
I can't even.
Well, we can give them to Tanya down at the Athenian, then she can get
Oh,
yeah.
She'll be fine.
Oh my God, that's awesome. We should put those in a. We should put those in a box and send them to somebody.
We can maybe pass them out to the city council.
Yeah, there you go.
Or at least 7 or 8 of the city councilors.
Yeah. We love to celebrate.
If we're going to be called the Pom Pom Squad,
Yeah.
I think we should have pom poms.
You definitely don't need 11 of them.
All you need is 6, 7 to be safe. Right? You always want a cushion in case you piss somebody off. But
Nice.
Thank you for this gift.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But from my heart and my wife's Amazon.
Thank you, Riley.
Service. So Elizabeth Warren, the senior senator from Massachusetts, was in the Mill City on Tuesday night informing the masses.
Yep.
About everything happening in Washington, D.C., and I'm sure she was trying to calm down everybody's fears and anxieties. Did either of you go?
I didn't. I did not.
No, I didn't go.
It was on the same. It was the same night as I had something else. I would have been curious. She's probably trying to get feedback from people also to like see. She's probably doing what she's supposed to do. That's what a lot. Well, that's what a lot of other senators are doing. There was
I don't give a shit what we think.
There was a town hall in I forget what city, but there were people like out the door waiting in line to get to it. One of the I don't know if it was North Carolina, but it was because a lot of people, like 9 out of the 13 questions that people were asking were about Social Security benefits. And people, Social Security is getting taken away from people that are like alive. And
it has. Do we know somebody who's lost it that was alive?
It was in the news, and this guy got $5,000 taken like levied against him because he was deemed, he thinks it's because he was born in Germany, but on a military base in Germany. So he thinks that someone like that might have tripped things up.
I haven't heard any stories of them actually taking Social Security benefits.
Oh, yes. It's happening to a lot of people.
I mean, there's the fear. They're saying it's going to happen, but it has
happened to this guy.
All right.
I'll send you the
Please do.
I'll send you the news story.
A deeper dive
Yeah, I just saw.
into it.
Yeah, Breaking Point's just a
Sounds
story
like
on it.
when the guys have like a bad back and they go out golfing and they get their benefits taken away.
Was it Social Security or SSDI?
It was social. No, it was Social Security. He's a senior citizen.
Okay.
And he was on Social
I
Security.
need to see that article.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
I've been waiting for
There's
an example
There's a
of it,
picture
which-
of him with his wife sitting there, being like, "What the heck?" And it like took him. He had to spend like hours on the phone and like in line at the office trying to like figure it out.
What was the reason? Did they give him a reason?
They don't know. They don't know. I think the only thing that he could surmise from like they've got some algorithm happening, but he was actually born. He's a U.S. citizen, born in Germany,
If you're
but
born
on a military base.
That's U.S.
So
citizenship.
that's the
yeah.
only thing he could think of that may have like tripped up him getting his benefits.
Has that ever happened before?
It's happening to a lot of people. Like a lot of people are going to these town halls with this issue.
Has it happened? But is it something that happens periodically leading up, or is this a direct result of?
No,
what's
direct result of
happening
what's
with
direct result of what's
Trump
happening.
and Musk and Doge and everything else?
Well, what they're doing is trying to clean things up
How
and
is
like
this not let every network newscast? I would imagine that this we
Breaking
would
Points
be
did
bombarded with this.
Breaking Points did a bit on it like
Crystal Ball?
3 days ago. Yeah,
How's
Crystal
she
Ball.
doing? Is she okay?
She's doing great.
All right. I didn't know if they. I was gonna send her a straitjacket for.
Oh God!
Why?
I had to stop listening when
Why?
She's having a little problem.
she was terrible,
She's-
terrible about the Israeli Gaza thing. She calls it a genocide every time she mentions it. It's just she's like
That's
way
what
off.
it is.
She's not alone.
She's way off the rails on it.
All right. Well, we'll agree to
I had to
disagree.
stop listening. To
I
her.
don't think she needs a
These were
straitjacket.
the genocide. I'm like, it's not a genocide. Come on.
We can get to all of this stuff, but Elizabeth Warren and Lowell, none of us went. I know that they did it on the night of the city council meeting, so like none of the city councilors could be there either.
yeah.
I believe I saw a picture of the mayor before. I guess he went there beforehand.
Yeah.
And then said hello and then
Yeah.
got over there in time to run the meeting though. But look, it keeps going back and forth, right? Every single day, if you're bombarded on the news, you're bombarded on social media, this happened, there's corruption and we're weeding it out, or they're stealing money and all this and that, and they're cutting money from, people who need it and so on and so forth. And it's almost at the point where I gotta be honest with you, I don't believe any of it anymore. I need to kind of like see an example. I need to see some proof. And that goes for the waste, supposedly. You see all the reports of it, but, is it real? Some people are saying it's not, that the Doge numbers are completely made up and they can't back it up. So I'd like to see some evidence behind it. Conversely, I don't believe the deranged people who are basically saying that Elon Musk is stealing their money. Why does Elon Musk want to steal anybody's money? He's the richest man on the planet.
I think that he's part of this movement that has a different plan for what they want to do to shape the world.
Sure. He's got a political ideology. Mm-hmm. Perhaps he's a well-intentioned autistic man-child, some semi-autistic man-child who
I'd lead it with man-child. He's a man-child.
Believes he's
autistic or not.
saving. I think there's some slight.
But I don't think that's the issue. I think the man-child.
He may realistically think he's saving democracy, freedom of speech, and taking the world into the 22nd century and beyond. I mean, as people are accusing him of stealing their money by, the guy who's the richest man in the world, and it's not even close between him and number two, they're celebrating the drop in stock price of Tesla. They're going out and firebombing, or at the very least scratching, keying Teslas. Which, by the way,
that's not
morons, right. Teslas have cameras. If you don't key them, that's a surefire way to get caught. Everything's recorded. But this week, the guy who's stealing money from America's seniors and most vulnerable sent a rocket into space to bring down 2 astronauts who were stranded for, 11 months at the space station? Something he had offered to do before, but the then president of the United States, for whatever reason, said no.
That's awesome that he did that.
Well, plus, and he was the darling of a lot of people that hate him now just 2-3 years ago. Like the guys had a complete their impression of him was completely flipped.
Well, that's why I believe TDS is such a deadly mental illness, because it makes climate folks hate electric vehicles. They're destroying the leading electric vehicle company in the world. They are intentionally trying to bankrupt it, and if they can't bankrupt it, they're going to sabotage it. They are walking into Tesla dealerships with Molotov cocktails and lighting entire showrooms on fire.
I mean, protest
Is this rational behavior?
Aren't they made in America mostly?
Yes.
Some of them.
80,000 American workers work for Tesla.
Yeah.
Didn't they do like a big battery plant at some point?
Yes, in Arizona.
They are, as we talk about the lack of electric infrastructure to plug your electric vehicles in and whatnot, if you don't have the capability to do so at your own home, Tesla is actually funding them all over the country, whereas the Joe Biden administration got, $1 trillion and didn't build any, even though they supposedly were going to. This guy is doing all that. Mm-hmm. So we can agree with him, we can disagree with him, right? Philosophically, ideologically, but is he really public enemy number one? Is he really stealing money as he's being accused of doing?
I don't, as someone that is very climate concerned and very pro electric vehicle and drive a Tesla and all that, I think that he has done so much to move electric vehicles forward in the United States. Made in the United States. He started an American company, a few American companies, very successful. We owe him a lot for where we are right now in the electric vehicle space across all the car companies that make their cars. So that's number one. But you can, two things can be true at the same time. I'm now embarrassed to drive one around, sort of. I mean, it's a good car, all that stuff.
Are you going to trade it in for a Cadillac Escalade like
I'm gonna trade it
Senator
in for,
Mark Kelly in Arizona did?
No, I'm going to trade it in for something like another EV at some point.
Do you have a Tesla?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember you had something else before.
I had a Chevy Volt, and then I had a Tesla.
You've got a Tesla. So
yeah,
you're
I've had one
embarrassed
for
to be driving
4 years.
a Tesla. So you're going to sell it?
I'm a little so yeah, I mean,
Are you afraid it's going to get keyed?
I was planned. No, I'm not. I'm afraid. This is what I'm kind of afraid of. I'm afraid that he's going to do some algorithm that makes them all go crazy, because he has that power. He does. It's I mean, it is. I know that sounds nuts, but what I think
he would do it to the people who oppose him and call him a thief first. I don't think he'd do it to you.
But I don't know, so
why would he target you? Wouldn't he target wouldn't he have targeted Mark Kelly beforehand, before Mark could sell it in for a Cadillac Escalade, by the way? How many miles per gallon does that gas guzzler get?
A Cadillac Escalade?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's what Kelly got, a big Cadillac SUV.
Yeah, so I can understand that you're
about the planet. Yeah.
I can understand that you're pointing out the hypocrisy. I totally get that. That's whatever. But now he has become a figure that is, I think, what he's trying to do is not steal money, but siphon benefits and things like democracy and things like he, in the name of efficiency, Social Security, things like that, in the name of efficiency, without a good plan to replace him. And I don't think he really cares that much.
The guy, well, first of all, I don't think it's him. I think he's doing the bidding of the president and the current administration, and he has the technical expertise and know-how to get some computer geniuses in there to try to figure some stuff out. But he's created a company that has electric vehicles. Mm-hmm. Thinking of the future of the planet.
Well, he bought a company that was already doing it.
Correct.
But this isn't something he made.
But he's taken it to a whole
Right.
new level now, where again is the preeminent electric car manufacturer on the planet. He's got a space program, which again rescued 2 astronauts. He's also got a Starlink internet program, which again, all you lefties who like to post Ukrainian flags on your Facebook profiles, the only reason Ukraine is able to communicate, the people in war-ravaged Ukraine are able to communicate, and other parts of the world, is because his Starlink allows everybody to connect their cell phones or their computers to the internet, which is not controlled by the government of an oppressive nation or a free nation or whoever. Not to mention in North Carolina, Starlink was brought out when FEMA didn't go out to help the people ravaged by the hurricane. California, the people ravaged by wildfires.
Hawaii,
Starlink was there for them. Hawaii. Yeah. So
Huge accomplishment.
This guy's entire life and entire career has been one of improving the planet. Now, we can disagree. Nobody mocks an electrical vehicle more than I do. And you would never find me dead buying or driving a Tesla or letting it drive me.
Right.
But that's just because I think the whole thing is a sham. This guy is actually doing things that we're told is for the betterment of the world. And because he aligns himself with Donald Trump and wants to weed out what he says is fraud in the U.S. government, we're going to brand him a thief. We're going to brand him evil. We're not going to sit there and listen and say, this guy caught a rocket in the arms of the launch pad where it took off from a few days earlier. This guy rescued 2 astronauts stuck at the space station for 11 months and brought them back to Earth safely.
It's unbelievable. It is.
Why don't we say, you know what? This guy's smart. Maybe I should look into what he's saying instead of instinctively believing the politicians who may or may not have been getting filthy rich themselves or their family and friends with these government-funded NGOs, grants, and all this other stuff. Which scenario is more plausible? He's an evil thief, or he's somebody who ideologically thinks he's doing something good for the country, and maybe we should listen to him because he is smart.
I think it's always somewhere in the middle is the truth, right? So I feel like a lot of what they, meaning like this administration, is trying to do is show that, I mean, let's face it, anytime there's been an effort to reform something, it goes nowhere, right? Like, think back to like when Hillary was trying to, when Bill made Hillary in charge of bringing healthcare to America, and how it got bogged down in politics and, all the, corruption and everything else and fundraising, whatever. But like, so these guys come in and they're just they're gutting things. And you're right. The fact that it's not always a good plan is scary, right? It's scary. It can be reckless, but they're showing that you can tear things down, right? And so the old method hasn't resulted in any changes, right? Have a committee, discuss things for a long time, come to a compromise, and all you get is a platypus where everybody keeps their share. Like, they're coming in and creating chaos. And I'm not one of these, what do they call those people? I'm not an anarchist or anything, right? But
you're not an avowed member of Cult 47.
I don't even know what that is.
As it's being called. Donald Trump, the 47th president, and
It sounds a lot like Cult 45. Is that on purpose?
Wait, so Cult 47?
Cult 47, yeah, that's one of the new terms. As if 78 to 80 million Americans, and growing, by the way, if you watch the polls, are part of a cult. I always thought a cult was a small group of people who were being led.
He's got a 47% approval rating right now. I mean,
over 50 in a lot of polls.
Wait, so does that make us Cult 18?
So
local Cult 18 for Chipper Golden?
Oh, Tom Golden is the 18th city mayor. Oh, wait.
Cult 18.
Tom Golden, the 18th city manager.
That's what we have. Because God forbid we enjoy when things go right. It must be. It can't just be, admiring something good going on. It must be something nefarious. I see a shadow.
Well, and to your point, as you are not a Trumper, you're clearly not a Trumper, Michaela. But you both understand the fact that our government needed something to change.
I can understand.
Right?
I understand why this is. I'm not a Trump guy, right? But I 100% understand why people respond to him, because he's an outsider. And why can't we give it a chance at the very least? Well, I mean, I would like to see some actual real. Nobody's challenging this stuff in a meaningful way, right? Like, I'm not talking about the people like protesting the street
there's court cases against what he's doing. What do you mean challenging in a meaningful way?
Court cases take for like I'm talking about like
people are trying to bog down his agenda in court. Some of them may be upheld, some won't.
But what would look like a challenge to you?
It would be maybe somebody. Well, first of all, if anybody had done any bipartisan anything over the last 10 years, we could have like worked to say, hey, let's take a look at how this is being done, like through presidential, what do you call them?
Executive orders.
Look at executive orders. How do we do something about executive orders? How do we do something about how can any president have this much power? We've seen this becoming a trend. It happened with Trump first. Well, actually, I think
Obama,
Yeah,
started it.
Trump,
Yeah.
Biden, and now Trump again. We've become government by executive order
so like
to a large degree,
for
which, by the way, is wrong, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
balance
No
of
matter who's
power
doing
between
it.
the three
Right.
branches is not
It's out of
really
whack. And
it's
nobody-
not really happening.
And for 16 years, it's been going on, and nobody cares because depending on who's in, like, all right, we'll just wait 4 years, and then we'll just do whatever we want. It's not about the people in Congress and whatever. They don't care about. They talk about what's going on, but they're not doing anything about it. And by doing anything about it, sure, court cases and that, but like, bring up a structural change. Stop some of this
The
stuff if you
system-
don't like it.
Yeah, the system doesn't allow
So
for that.
if you're going to let, they're letting this happen, right? And do I disagree with all of it? No, some of it I think is all right. Like, I don't care about the Department of Ed going away. Like,
Let it play out and see.
the funding is you're not gonna lose the funding. It's just the structure.
But okay,
Why that reaction?
then communicate, and I want to go back to Elon after this, but like communicate how the funding is going to get from our tax dollars that we spend on schools.
Yeah.
Very important.
They will.
Well, you spend it.
But no, but they didn't. He signed an executive order. No Department of Education.
He told you.
How's the funding going to get
We're going
there?
to give the money directly to the states and let the states decide. So Massachusetts will decide what to do with that money. New Hampshire will decide, and then you can let the 50 states battle it out for how.
Are they going to give the money equally amongst all the states, or is it going to be like, hey, if you don't agree with getting rid of your DEI, you don't get no federal funding anymore? Is that going to be? That's a problem.
But right now, like, so if you look at Title I, right, that's managed out of DOE. It's based on a formula, based on the number of low income, whatever. There's a formula there. The funding follows a formula. So no, it doesn't go to each state equally. Based on the formula, that's the money you
Equally based on the formula,
Right.
I mean.
Yeah.
I didn't mean equally. I meant like equally
Yeah,
based
so
on.
But
Run it
your
on a-
point about if Massachusetts continues down this path of pushing back against the, get rid of the DEI directives, will Massachusetts jeopardize its
Right.
educational funding,
Right.
whereas New Hampshire might not?
But what
Right.
they'll say is you
So
can't.
maybe Massachusetts should, I don't know, consider doing away with it because
Maybe Massachusetts should take a knee and bow to the king. Is that what you mean?
no, because
Because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but this isn't something new.
No, right now, right?
If you did not pass seatbelt laws, you didn't get federal transportation money. If you didn't reduce your speed limit to 55 in the 80s, you lost out on federal transportation money. If you didn't recognize certain holidays, you jeopardized
Drinking
money.
age,
This has been
0.08.
going. Yeah, drinking age was another one. If you didn't,
We
up
are
your
talking
drinking
about
age-
funding of schools, not wearing a seatbelt. Things that are 100% proven to
They
be
don't-
healthier
they
for
don't fund-
Americans.
They don't fund this. They fund programs within this. Like, it's not like they.
Schools don't. Public schools do not operate without federal funding.
Right, but the federal funding is all. It's not. It's all targeted.
Fine, but it's still money.
but
You
you
still
don't-
can't
So wouldn't
fix
it
the
be
house.
smart? Wouldn't it be smart to not jeopardize that federal funding? Not put your most at-risk
what are they gonna-
students at risk of not getting federal funding
you can-
because you have political ideology with the guy who now controls.
All
the
right,
purse
let's
strings?
talk about the efficiency of this. One president is in for 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to abide by that president's rule for 4 years if you're a school. Then the next president comes for 4 years. Oh, now we got to change all our textbooks because of this.
I've got a
this
problem
president's
with that. Yeah,
ideology.
I've got a problem
But
with
that's
that.
what it's creating. You just said it was a problem. You just said it was a
Yes.
problem that 4 years of this and we're increasing the power of government. You just said that was a problem. Increasing the power of government started with Obama. Whatever.
Correct.
This
Well,
is
the president.
further of the president.
The
Sorry.
same way we're increasing the
This
power
is-
of the governor,
Okay, but
who
this
is
is
now blackmailing cities in Massachusetts.
Fine.
If they don't adopt MBTA communities, wait till the communities push back against ADUs. Wait till the communities push back
Fine.
against vocational school lotteries.
But what you're doing is
Why are we upset about Trump having this much authority and
Well,
not
why-
everybody else who's had it forever?
Well, why were you upset about them increasing the power of the president when it came along to like now where we are now? This is not a good spot where we are now, where the president ruled by executive order. But you're totally okay with increasing the power of the president when it comes to funding our schools.
Well, because the funding of the schools is the Department of Education is a cabinet position.
But
that
we
he
don't
has
have
now
a
eliminated.
Department of
Right,
Education.
which he has now eliminated.
Right.
The country seemed to do just fine. I mean, I know Liam Skinner was here yesterday and talked about up until 1979. So a president back in the 1800s created a education department or whatever they called it. They
Right.
didn't call it a Department of Education.
Right.
And then it was done away with. It was like each state's going to rule their education from the mid 1800s to 1979. And then Jimmy Carter said, we're going to put the Department of Education, I'm going to make it a cabinet level department and assign a secretary. Has it saved American education? Are our kids learning more today than they were in 1979?
Well, the textbook
Are they
textbook
regressing?
lobbies in Texas have done really well.
So Trump is just saying we're wasting a certain level of money in D.C. Now, you asked the question, like, how's the funding going to get to the states? Well, right now, the way it gets is us as taxpayers, we send the money to D.C. and they take a cut and put it towards the military, Social Security, or wherever, and then schools. And then what the feds give it to the Department of Education, which is its own bureaucracy with lots of salaries, lots of benefits,
I agree.
and then they pass it on to the states. Why not just have the Department of Treasury send that money directly to the states rather than going to the bureaucracy, which has a certain
I do it through Health and
payroll
Human
whatever.
Services because you can at least have some guidelines, but like
Do you want Anthony Fauci to have control of that money?
Well, no, but
or the next Anthony Fauci to control that money?
but like some of the stuff that they've worked out is okay. Like you can keep the formula, right? You don't need it to be administered by a separate behemoth organization. Like that's why give it to. Like,
So you're just going to transfer it from one behemoth organization that you're getting rid of to Health and Human Services. So that doesn't do anything.
there is a big difference.
But you've
because,
cut
right,
on one level of it, though.
and you've also I think one of the worst things about the Department of Education is when you look at how like the textbook industry, not anymore, I don't think, because there's no more textbooks, but like how they've influenced curriculum over the years. Like, why do you think there's new math every couple of years, right? Because if you kept the same system, nobody's gonna need to buy the books again, right?
Why is there a new edition of the same book by the same author with maybe 2 pages of difference?
Right. It's all
Because then
part
you
of
have
that.
to buy the new edition for. Now it used to be 50,
This is
60 bucks when I was in college.
profit-driven
Right.
bullshit.
And
None of it is about educating kids.
Yeah.
They say it's always for the kids, but is it ever for the kids?
I mean, look at
Educating kids and having a system of like, I agree that like there's probably a lot of bureaucracy and probably a lot of corruption that happens probably over the years. Trim it down, figure it out, but just with the stroke of a pen, getting rid of an entire department who's in charge of like do you think that public schools are important in this country?
100%.
Okay.
And I'm disgusted with
Okay,
what's
great.
happening in them.
Fine. Okay.
Kids can't read and write anymore.
So
no discipline.
So we do. So something
They're
needs to,
indoctrinating kids.
something needs to change. There's also like
Teachers can't teach anymore.
well, there's also that's happening because of like a larger climate that's going on in the country. There's also
Directed by DOE.
there's a lot of stuff that's going
I
on
wouldn't want
that's
to be
beyond.
a teacher. I feel bad for teachers
Yeah.
today. What if they get more direct support?
Phones are one thing that's
Yeah.
messing with kids. Like lots of things. But I think it's totally reckless, and also I think it was designed to create panic, frustration, in the American people of for doing something
I
like
think
that.
the fear mongering is what's designed to create. I think that these people think they're legitimately making a difference. Donald Trump has talked about this since he first came down that escalator. He didn't go through on his promise in his first term, but he didn't make it a secret. He ran on, I'm going to eliminate the Department of Education.
He did that his first time
He
ran.
talked about it the first time. He said,
I
yeah, we're going to
I did not
eliminate
know
it, and
that.
then he never did. He said a lot of things in
didn't know that.
2015 and 2016 that he never did.
Well,
But
who was his secretary? His secretary was the wrestling
Linda
guy.
McVeigh, yeah, I think
right?
he had...
And she had a vested interest in private charter schools.
No, I think
right?
I thought his first guy was the guy that didn't believe in dinosaurs.
Betsy DeVos.
Oh, Betsy DeVos, that's
Betsy.
right. My apologies.
Betsy
The
DeVos.
health guy was the guy that didn't believe in
So
dinosaurs.
Betsy DeVos,
Carlson or something?
but Betsy DeVos had a vested interest in private charter schools. So do you see like a problem there? Maybe it's not stealing money, but maybe what it's doing is shifting public funds to benefit private
charter
schools,
okay,
so people can get rich off
who
of
are
that.
educating the underprivileged at an incredible rate.
It's a different model.
That's taxation without
It's
representation.
a different model.
There are issues with. I'm not a
It's a
big
huge
fan.
problem.
You're not a fan of minority kids learning? I thought that's what we wanted.
No, I don't like the idea that you've got. So charter schools. The problem in charter school. First of all, they do a great job, right?
Yeah, there are some good. I'm not
But you
speaking
know why
totally,
they
but
do a great job?
It's an
Because
option.
they can pick and choose whoever they want.
Yes.
Which is how all schools should be. You should have a school for. It should be levels. Like
Hey, you want to go down that path?
I will.
There's certain kids who shouldn't be in school because they become disruptive
Yeah.
to the 99% of students learning.
we used to have.
So there should be resources for those kids.
in the 80s, right?
Yeah,
They used to
be
be
in the same school building.
They used to be
Classrooms.
homogeneous grouping, right? And it was called tracking, and that became a bad thing. And you know why was it bad? Is because, well, if you put a kid in 8-5, you're basically saying that he's not going to ever succeed. So you're, you know, putting him in a whatever. And I'm like, it's how everybody else does it in the world. Like now, the way they used to put the kids in there wasn't great because a lot of it was like based on some past academic performance and some like who your family was and everything. But like there's a way to do that homogeneous grouping fairly. You test into it, you do this or that. All that stuff, they got rid of it. When did they get rid of it? Mid-'80s. What happened a little before the mid-'80s? They created the Department of Education. And like you can see where these national kind of things filtered down, and like school districts don't have a lot of control anymore. And I've seen it in Massachusetts so many times where, like, look at this thing Liam Skinner was talking about last week about the transportation of homeless
on
kids.
yesterday's podcast. 80s legislation. Ronald Reagan, McKinley-Vento. That was a Department of Education thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where you must transport a kid to whatever school and God knows where. Well, Lowell now is transporting 90 students at the cost of what looks like in March is going to be $1 million a month, because homeless students need to get transported to whatever school they felt more comfortable with before they found a roof in Lowell.
Now, and there's some of that
is that sustainable?
It's not sustainable. It's some of it's the goal should be what's the best way to keep the kids that are in that situation and give them the best education, right? But when you do something like that and you're requiring it's too bureaucratic, right? Like you have to do it doesn't necessarily, it's not sustainable. That's the problem. And I think a lot of these decrees from these big bureaucracies are problematic. It'd be great.
Unfunded mandates.
It'd be great if people got together and looked at this and then said, hey, we're going to come up with a plan, and came up with a plan. But whenever you do that, it seems like nothing happens. And so when you create this chaos, people scramble. And sometimes when that, God, I can't believe I'm saying this, but sometimes when that happens,
keep talking, man.
Sometimes when that happens, you come up with like a good
Cult 47.
I'm gonna throw these pom poms.
I'm not a Cult 47. No, but you can come up with like a good plan. And like in a way, a lot of like some things that have been created out of thin air. Like I don't know how the Nixon's when he saved the world, basically when he created the clean air and water thing. Like I don't know how much.
You can't give Richard Nixon credit for anything.
I'll give him credit for that one. Listen, you used to be able to.
You can't. There's 3 people you can't credit for anything: Richard Nixon, Donald Trump, and Tom Golden.
Oh yeah. Well, Nixon. I mean, he opened up. I was no Nixon fan, but like, well, maybe I am. He opened up China and he did the Clean Air and Water Act. I don't know how much thought and stuff was put into that beforehand, right? But like that was created out of not thin air, but like that was created. Like we create things, but if we just destroy them and get rid of them. You know, the services probably some of the services may not go away. Some of them, hopefully most of them stay, but they're administered more efficiently. It's possible. Give it a shot. I don't know.
How many times, this is my thing. And again, you might be right. It may prove to be a disaster.
You could be right.
But how many times are we
right about what?
About this education thing is going to prove disastrous, right? And some of the other things.
Oh, it will.
But how many times are we going to bang our head against the wall just doing the same thing as Bach said? We'll never, because we can't come up with a perfect solution, so we're not going to change anything. Meanwhile, our kids are backsliding.
I hear what you're saying.
Okay? But you know, even in other things, he's trying to do something different. You know, everybody's losing their minds about tariffs, right?
Yeah, I would too.
Why? The rest of the world is putting tariffs on the American products. And if you look, we entered an agreement in 1994, North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, which somebody named Ross Perot, who was not one of the establishment, told us was going to destroy the American manufacturing base and the American middle class. And Al Gore went on TV and debated him on the Larry King Show, and I said, Al Gore kicked his ass. What a kook Ross Perot was. 31 years later, Ross Perot was right. The American middle class has been destroyed. Okay, there was a woman on the Bill Maher show last week.
Big corporations are more to blame than the NAFTA bullshit. Okay,
that's who's really NAFTA let the big corporations usurp American.
And we're gonna trust Donald Trump, who had 4 tech bros, the largest holders of like huge corporations, standing right behind him. We're gonna trust that man?
Yeah, because he's the only one talking about bringing manufacturing back to the United States.
Let's see how
has it worked out for 31 years? Here's a stat. Go watch the Bill Maher show. There was a woman who said it far more eloquently than I did last Friday night. In the 1970s, the middle class controlled 67% of the GDP in the United States. 67% of the gross domestic product in the United States was controlled by the middle class in the 1970s.
They made it.
And now it's completely,
absolutely,
it's almost disappeared.
Yeah.
So what's happened in the ensuing years? Okay, so I'd have to see how did that trend start going in the 80s, but I'm going to bet you it accelerated like a mofo after NAFTA was signed.
Agreed.
And all these corporations realized I can go offshore and make my thing with slave labor. Let's be honest here.
Well, I think
instead of paying the American worker, the American union worker to boot, a fair, sustainable wage, right? We're going to get the Chinese to do it for $1 an hour in a Nike sweatshop or wherever. Donald Trump is now saying, let's bring this back. The Canadians are taxing American dairy products. They've got like 200% tariffs on milk. How is that free trade? Free trade is you tax me 0, I tax you 0, buy the best product on the market.
They've got the dairy industry by the cheap.
Well, let's just talk. Well, let's just talk about what it's going to do. So everybody's complaining about electricity prices, energy prices. The 10% tariff.
I'm getting $50 back.
How are you going to spend your $50?
They're going to pay my bill. My $450 bill.
You're going to pay 1/10 of your bill.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Sorry, go ahead.
The 10% tariff, every grid in America except for Texas gets some mix of Canadian energy. He is
because they're way ahead of us in hydroelectric power. Right?
Yeah, well, Trump is blocking any development of offshore winds.
Yep.
That is energy independence. We could that. Okay. And what is he doing to the American middle class? He has a 10% increase on your energy bill. That's what that is. So when we hear about people complaining about their electricity bill, you can thank Donald Trump. The same way people think the same way people think Joe Biden for my gas pump, Joe Biden gas. You can thank Donald. Look at your electricity bill and thank Donald Trump for that, or your gas bill.
President for 2 months.
Whatever.
Why did my electric and gas bill go up in December? Why did my electric and gas bill go up?
It's going to keep going up.
Because your energy prices are actually going to start to come down because he has opened up American energy production for something other than wind and solar, something that has been proven to work for a couple of centuries. Again, we can debate the merits of that, but if you want to go firebomb Elon Musk, who's, by the way, a big proponent of solar, wind, and batteries, and he's doing all sorts of innovative stuff on this thing, go ahead, firebomb him, put him out of business. I don't care. I want to burn, baby, burn. Drill, baby, drill, and burn, baby, burn.
What's the opposite of a pom-pom? What is the we need an opposite.
It's called the low-life forum.
Well, this is where I get frustrated, right? Because you look at, if you really want to look at these issues, first of all, you've got a grid that needs work, right? National Grid years ago, I shouldn't name National Grid, but like the electrical industry decided years ago it was cheaper to let their infrastructure fail than to maintain it, right? So that's why whenever there's a storm now, all your power goes out, and they send out crews from all over the place.
While also moving their headquarters offshore so they could avoid certain taxes.
Right. They're British company.
But let's not tax National Grid 10% for the energy that they're bringing in from across the Atlantic.
So you've got monopolies.
Instead of producing it here in America.
You've got monopolies in the electrical industry, right? You've got monopolies, and I know this sounds trivial, but like in the cable industry, right? You can only get like Comcast, whatever. And then you've got all these Congress people that basically are blatantly doing insider trading and gaining,
and getting lobbyist money.
Yeah, and like those, or like they'll just say even the fundamental principle of corporate personship is one of the most ridiculous things in the world.
Yep.
Or shareholder versus stockholder. There are all these things.
Like your first thing is to like create profits. Like that's your first.
Or like these hedge funds. Like there are so many things that they could be working on, and instead they're worried about like I don't small things, right? And that's why I lay the blame at the foot of Congress, because Trump is a reaction to their inactivity, and they're just kind of ignoring the real issues that really have crushed the middle class. The middle class is getting it on both ends, right? Because the big corporations and the super rich don't pay a dime in taxes, right? And then they've sucked jobs out, and it's not, the government didn't create that situation. These corporations saw the opportunity to influence government to create these situations.
That policy gave them the legal right.
Right.
To go ahead and do that.
NAFTA was the cherry on top. This shit happened before that. But but then on the other end, you bring in tons of immigrants and asylum seekers and migrants so that you can keep your apportionment safe. That's all this is in Massachusetts.
Your congressional seats and your electoral votes.
And then and all the poverty that's been created by sucking all this wealth to the top and out of the country requires a bigger safety net. Who pays for that? We do in the middle class. We're getting screwed. And if you, God forbid if you're a single man with no children, and
do we know any of those?
I know, we get the shit taxed out of us, and so it's we're getting in on both ends.
At least you're making not 70 cents on the dollar, though.
Who makes 70 cents on the dollar? Women. No, you don't. Your dollar's the same as my. No, I know, but it's not like
You're gonna trigger her.
There's not like a 30-cent.
I'm triggered today. Let me tell you.
I love it. I love.
No, but if you and I go somewhere and we both get paid the same, we're getting paid the same.
Yeah, but men, sorry, I don't even mean
just
to
don't even. I mean, I'm not. Listen, I'm not Paco. I do believe women get paid less. There's statistics to show.
Right,
but my point is that just Trump isn't like this. These things created Trump, and people respond to it because they have no he's an outsider. It's outsider versus insider.
He's
People
a
think
symptom of an illness.
It's a worldwide populist movement. Look at your elections in Germany, in France, in Argentina. Everywhere around the world, people have said enough of this globalist stuff.
But that's what's going to happen anyway.
Not
the globalist stuff.
Globalism
people fight back.
It's bad for people.
Are you kidding me?
Donald Trump is the leading. Imagine a billionaire leading a populist movement.
And when we realize
Bernie Sanders.
it's going to be too late. It's when we realize what's actually happening, it's going to be too late. You talked about Elon Musk. You just talked about monopolies. You just mentioned all of the companies that they are doing a lot of good for humankind, right? Monopolies are bad, right? Okay. We can agree, right?
Yeah.
Well, who else? Jeff Bezos tried to do rockets.
Fine, but would Elon Musk control the space?
What's his name? Do the rockets?
The phallic symbol.
Jeff Bezos is.
Yeah.
That was one of the. Has he sent another one up?
I hope not.
I think one was going to go up, but they had to get some Cialis first.
Oh God!
It wouldn't go up.
It wouldn't go up anymore. Sorry. You just made me think of that. That was one of the best moments of all time.
I'm glad we can laugh. So Starlink, the ability for people to get communication with the outside or whatever, fine. But it does do a lot of good.
My sister Jackie bought one.
He's controlling battery manufacturing, energy. He's controlling.
Is he controlling it or is he creating it?
He's creating it. But I'm saying we all agree monopolies are bad. Does it scare you how much he controls as one human being controls because he has ownership of these companies, right? He is Twitter, the ability of people what he could do as one person is very scary.
What he could do.
And now he's first buddy to the president.
What I've seen him doing is actually allowing free speech on Twitter. The
Neuralink thing?
I remember a time in 2020 when people
censored Laura Loomer. He has a history of censoring people.
Well, she's a right-wing nut.
Doesn't matter. He's censoring people, and he does that. And his whole thing was free speech.
Well, even he has things that you can't cross a certain line.
He's censoring other people. If he's censoring Laura Loomer, he's censoring other people.
We were having scientists censored in 2020 and 2021.
Don't compare the good with he's all about free speech.
He's an improvement over what Twitter was. Can it get better? Of course. But let's not pretend that Elon invented censorship. There are emails showing the Biden administration colluding with Facebook, the original Twitter ownership.
I agree.
And telling you to silence dissent.
I agree, but
Okay?
he's trying to pass himself off as some free speech kind of guy, and let me tell you, he is not.
He's,
but
he's
is
better
not.
than anybody else.
I don't
running any one of
care.
these companies right now.
I
but
don't
none
care.
of these,
He's
none
an
of these-
improvement.
whether you're Twitter, Facebook, or what are those things used to be called? Newspaper, or whatever. Like,
What are those?
Those are the things you hide yourself with, I think.
You bring it to the bathroom
It's like,
and
yeah,
then you
yeah,
have like
yeah.
a face of black smudge marks.
Yeah.
Paper
Whatever-
mache.
yeah, but fish, gonna wrap fish.
Oh yeah.
But whatever those, like all those things, right? There was an expectation of when people talk about censorship of any of those things, it doesn't apply. They're all privately owned companies. They can censor all they want.
Correct.
But there's
The
only
only thing-
one there's only one that claims to be like free speech. There's only one
Yeah,
that
but-
like
but
makes
the-
that
what's
open
the-
claim.
His speech. He's got about a 50.
He doesn't claim to be freest.
Yeah, but what was the tagline of one of the newspapers, like the Voice of America, or something like what's the New York Times? Don't they have some obnoxious tagline?
The Washington Post.
Yeah, like
Something.
Yeah.
Freedom dies. Or democracy dies in the dark, or freedom dies in the dark.
yeah, all these things.
As they censored everybody in 2020 who was right.
But they've been
by the
doing
way.
But they've been doing it. Feels like yellow journalism was a big, like that was back in the whatever, like in the the late 1800s. Or the only thing that was ever supposed to be bipartisan, neutral, was the news over public airways.
Yeah,
right?
and they wish it would still be that way.
even that was, and then they got rid of it through legislation. But that
Well, how could it be bipartisan when it was funded by the entity that is doing a lot of the wrong things? And it can't question it.
well, but at least there was an attempt to make it. But my point is that as a consumer, you got to realize, like, if you're on Twitter, like double check, right? Like, or if you're on Facebook, double check.
Yes.
You can't like there's a
Totally.
if you find, like, if you watched, first of all, and remember how it works. You find a thing that says if you drink Guinness, you're going to lose weight and live forever. You're going to get a milk, which would be awesome. But if you get like once you watch that, you're going to get 5 more because the algorithm. Don't believe it. Look it up. Do your research, and like, yeah, these things are censored. You have to go into these things expecting that they're censored.
What did he censor Laura Loomer over?
She had a post. I
Was she
forget what
doxing
exactly.
somebody, or
No.
See, that's a case where I believe people should be censored.
No,
You don't dox somebody to encourage violence.
It wasn't. No,
or
it wasn't
damage
anything. It
against
was
them.
not anything like that. She said something. I can get it for you,
Yeah, you don't-
but it was nothing that was like could be deemed as like hate speech or threatening someone or anything that was like causing a danger to someone else's life. It was her doing her stupid stuff that she does.
Did she post a picture of 3 firemen and only one of them was accused of a crime?
Let's take a break right here. You're watching the Inside Lowell Daily Pulse on this Friday, March 21st. We'll return to the Pod Squad. Mike 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐏𝐨 McCarthy, a.k.a. Batch and the Hypen. We will end today's show, despite all the loving spatting that we're doing, with a Honduras hug, as we do on each and every Daily Pulse Pod Squad. Could be
I know.
Honduras strangle today, but we will get you a Honduras hug. Let me just quickly thank our Daily Pulse sponsors: Ray Booten, licensed realtor, Massachusetts and New Hampshire, certified appraiser in both states as well. Find them online, realestaterayBooten.com. Thanks as well to our friends at WellPoint. At WellPoint, your whole health is their whole point. Washington Savings Bank, banking that feels like home. Make the switch now to Washington Savings Bank. TMI Properties, quality and value at every price point. Find your perfect space with TMI. Mahoney Oil, providing warmth and protection to Greater Lowell, Southern New Hampshire since 1925, 100 years. Greater Lowell Community Foundation, improving the quality of life in Greater Lowell through strategic, impactful philanthropy. Francis E. Prevention Insurance, protecting your most valuable assets since 1982. And by the Massachusetts Pirates, who tonight, Friday, March 21st, kick off the 2025 season against the Jacksonville Sharks. I'll be over at the Tasongas Center. Batch, you're going as well, right?
Yeah, Grace Hovey is making her debut as one of the cheerleaders.
The pirate dance
Oh,
squad.
pom pom. That's
Yeah,
like our
the
theme.
pom-poms, so-
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. She's
So
been-
a Lowell kid, and there's a Chelmsford kid actually wearing the Pirates uniform, Sal Lapoli Jr.
Oh wow.
oh yes, of the
Yeah. He originally, I guess when he signed his contract, he promised them 22 tackles, but now he's cut that back to 10.
oh my
He's going to
god.
wear a wood helmet.
Yeah, so He's bringing the pizzas.
It's a great marketing ploy by the Pirates. They get a local kid. They had one from Westford last year, but now they get one even more
that's
local.
good.
Well, I heard Jeff Thomas is going to go. Jeff Thomas is going to go and boo him.
He'll be the only Pirate player getting booed. What's interesting though is their best running back from last year, this kid named Jimmy Robinson, who was fantastic, best player in the league. He's actually on the Jacksonville Sharks, so he'll be playing against the Pirates tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but we should at least cheer him, Lowell, because he gave us a lot of good memories.
So this is I haven't been. This is my first.
You've never been to a Pirates game?
No, I'm looking forward
Dude,
to
it's
it.
awesome.
I gotta go.
I'll be there with the Greek prince and princess.
Yeah, we'll be by. And the it's pretty cool that you got like a local kid that's going to be one of the dancers. I mean, she's been dancing her whole life. It's kind of pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yay.
Maybe it'd be a Casey Crane sighting. Oh, no, actually, that was last year.
Wow, what did she do for them?
She was doing some consulting marketing stuff for them last year. I don't think she was on the dance squad, but let's switch gears for a second here. There was a great story that came out of Tuesday's Lowell City Council meeting, and actually the City Council agenda report. Elections Director Will Rosenberry responding to a number of election-related topics.
Oh, he's an interesting guy.
Yeah, he really is.
Have you had him on
love
again?
the beard. No, I haven't. I think he's afraid of me.
Really?
No.
I think Will is afraid of me.
No, I doubt it.
I scare him.
Why?
I don't know. Because I'm always asking questions. See, I've known Greg Pappas forever, so when I would call him and ask him, like Greg loves to talk. That's why he's now a part of our
If that's
daily
his real
post.
name.
Yeah, exactly.
Agent Pappas.
Dude, I'm convinced that guy was CIA. That guy probably knows who pulled the trigger on JFK. All right, I'm telling you, this guy knows things. This guy says things, and he told me a story on the podcast the other day about the Secret Service receiving an order to stand down on the motorcade to get off the vehicle. Okay, and then 2 hours afterwards, Han, your buddy from the Power Hour, sent us the video link of that exactly, and you could see one of the Secret Service agents go, "Why are they telling us to get off the limo?" They ride the back of the limo, which would have provided some kind of protection from a shot from behind.
Did you? I didn't realize that the.
So Greg knew this story.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He knows things.
He does. He's a CIA agent.
I gotta have my buddy Clegga from. He's a Lowell guy. He worked for what do you call it? The National Defense or whatever, or NSA. And I swear he was a spy.
I'm telling you, he probably knows Pappas.
That's what I was thinking. I got to ask him if he knows Pappas.
Anyway, Will Rosenberry, Pappas' successor as elections director in Lowell, had a report about the voting, the mail-in drop box, which apparently is too scary to go vote at City Hall. So it has to be moved somewhere.
Didn't I break into that last time?
Twice.
Yeah.
And in other towns, they're putting fire rags. But, I mean, Greg did bring up an interesting point where I said, well, why don't they just go get a mail-in ballot? And which Greg very quickly picked up on what I was putting out, that they are mail-in ballots. So why don't you just put it in the mail? Why do you have to go drop it off and drop it? So supposedly people are too afraid to take the mail-in ballot that they requested. They're too afraid to go put it in the drop box in the Lowell police station.
Okay.
Okay. So why not just put it in the mail? Or go drop it off in City Hall directly.
Well, the cost of stamps is prohibitive.
They're paid for. The stamps are paid for.
Well, there you go then.
Wouldn't it be the same as putting it in a mailbox?
Yeah.
Do we have mailboxes? Mailboxes are still around. Yeah,
there's still some around.
Do you know all the mail? If you're trying to mail, like say I'm trying to mail a letter to you, it goes from North Chelmsford to Boston to you.
Nuh-uh.
Sometimes it goes from Lowell to Boston to you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's all the mail goes to Boston.
Yeah.
Even if I mail a letter to Teddy in Chelmsford,
I learned that when I went to the post office right around the corner from me in Chelmsford Center.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It ended up in Boston and then back in Lowell.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm like, that's.
Again, we can't find efficiency though. We don't even look for government efficiency.
That might have. I think Trump screwed up the post office, I think.
Trump screwed everything up.
And they're laying more people off.
Huh?
But they're laying more people off from the post office, aren't they?
I think so, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's people are using the mail.
Yeah, you don't really need it.
It's all junk mail and flyers now.
Yeah.
But with online bill payment and stuff,
it's like a
USPS delivers like lots of stuff.
I think it's the best value in town.
It is.
I wish they would raise the price of a stamp to $1.
Yeah.
And just get it out, put some money away, and let it grow into it.
They should.
Instead of raising it 2-3 cents at a time. I agree
with you.
Raise it to $1. For $1, you can put something in a box down the street from your home, and it'll get to California within 3 days max, right?
They should.
That's a freaking steal.
It's also good.
having UPS and FedEx do that for you, right?
It's also good for businesses too that mail their stuff out.
And I think that you got to ask Marty this next time he's in. I think there's
Marty Laurie, our resident mailman.
yeah, I think there's
Postman.
they always talk about how the USPS like loses a ton of money. I think there's a reason where some of the money that they lose is allocated or siphoned off for something else. Like I think if you took that no, I think there's more to it than just like, oh, they lose money. There's I can't remember what it was, but ask him about it because it's pretty.
Again, raise it to $1. What's it now? 63, 65 cents now?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So take that 35 cents extra, put it in an account, let it bear interest for a few years, and you can kind of keep the prices in check. But $1 is a bargain. I will still use it wholeheartedly.
Yeah, and that cuts down on the
FedEx.
cut down on the junk mail. Listen, it's just
Oh yeah.
The
Look at
politicians
that.
wouldn't like it. They'd have to hold a couple more fundraisers.
yeah, but hey, you know,
The 8 mailings I get from every state candidate.
I don't count that as junk mail. I count like the stupid advertisement stuff as junk mail.
no, but that I mean, if it's $1, it's going to be.
I tell candidates, save the postage. Don't send it to my house. I know about you. I know what you're running on. I've literally sat here and interviewed you for 18 years now. Save the stamp. And invariably, I get bombarded by them. Because they just use a list. I mean, mail it out to everybody.
Yes, it's automatic.
But getting back to the elections report.
Oh yeah. Really, I know this.
So one of the motions that he was responding to was they can no longer use the Lowell High School cafeteria, the new Lowell High School cafeteria, as a voting location.
Why is it? Is it leaking?
Do you know why? No, it has nothing to do with the leaks yet.
Security.
Nope.
Wait, so the new cafeteria.
The brand new cafeteria constructed. It's even newer than the gym, which is already damaged. That's why I said the roof's not leaking yet, because it's still a little bit newer than the gym.
Parking.
No.
Security?
No.
Yeah, that's what I would have
Give
thought.
up.
What is it?
They don't have enough electrical outlets in the cafeteria.
Stop it.
To plug in the voting machine. Well, go look it up. The
Come
last
on.
city council agenda for Tuesday, March 18th, election director's report, it will tell you Lowell High School's new cafeteria does not have enough power outlets to plug in everything that they need
Do they
to
use?
run an election.
Are they like 220 volt?
The voting
machines or
machine-
something? Like, what?
Look, the voting machines need to
They
be
can't put
plugged
an
in, I guess so.
extension cord somewhere.
But Batch and I, we were thinking maybe that's why they had to do the cell phone ban, because they were having like student brawls over who'd get to plug the cell phone into the cafeteria.
They got to bring juice. They got to bring their own battery pack.
Yeah.
We need Elon Musk to create a Starlink for electricity.
That's why there has to be something more.
That's what Will Rosenberry wrote in the report. It's in
God.
writing, and he actually said it. In case you didn't believe his writing, he said it to the city council. So they've got to look. Ironically, one of the places they're exploring is the Masonic Temple.
Oh, really?
Yeah, can you imagine all these grand poobahs in Cali being in charge of the,
I know.
voting
I don't know.
traffic
I'll
and stuff?
tell you
That's
what.
a crazy building.
Isn't it?
Oh,
that's
it's
a crazy-
awesome in there.
It's an awesome building.
That's a
yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
building.
I want to get to the hidden spots. I need a
The
tour of
up the top.
up the-
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Callie, we'll have Callie bring you in there.
Really? Okay.
Oh, it's awesome in there.
They allow Greeks in there?
Yeah.
In the Masonic Temple?
Yeah.
I've been in there for like a function, but
Greeks were the original pagans, and aren't Masonics pagans?
No, not even close. I'll tell you what. It's
Aren't they though? Yeah,
No.
they were. No.
No, it's beautiful in there. That's weird.
yeah, isn't it?
I mean, how many voting machines?
I need to know more. I need to
Isn't
know
there a
more.
requirement that every so many feet you have a plug?
Maybe they
I
don't
would
put
think
outlets in there on purpose so kids can't charge their phones. Is that it?
I don't know, but I would think with the new electric codes, you would have more plugs than you would have required in the old cafeteria, which
Right.
was built in what, 1980 or 1997, whatever?
I have to imagine that they don't have plugs in there for a reason. Maybe it is for the kids fighting over the charging.
So one of the only
I don't know, man. That's
you know what kind of stinks is that
Maybe that's the same reason they don't have enough bathrooms, because they don't want kids brawling in the bathrooms. So they made less bathrooms.
that's why we can't have nice things.
We can't have nice things
Can't
in the
have
city.
nice things.
oh my god, they should just build a prison. I mean, do you think so? I don't think I'll be able to see this. You definitely won't be able to see this. Michaela probably will. The over under, I'm thinking on when they need to build a new high school.
2045.
I think it's
20 years.
I'm going to be around for it.
I was
Just so I
thinking.
can tell them I was right again.
I was thinking it was going to be.
You're like, I won't die until.
I was thinking it was 30 years, right? I think it's. And then I was like, all right, maybe. I think it's like 20. I'm going to go like 23 years.
What do they use as the useful life of the building? as like a
I would assume it's-
depreciation method.
I don't know. I would.
I'd like to hope 40, 50 years.
I'm guessing it's no more than 30. New construction isn't supposed to last.
Well, think about it. It was 1997 what had been the most recent, and by 2017 we were having a local holy war over where we'd locate the school.
Yeah.
That's 20 years, 2017 to 1997. So this one will be done in when? 2029, 2030?
Yeah, I'm
You know
thinking
what? It
over-
also depends
like-
on how well we maintain it, because
Oh,
the
all right,
city does
maybe I'll-
not have a good track
all right.
record with maintaining its.
Then
nice
you're
things.
100% correct. So I was going to put the over-under at 25 years. Now I'm putting it at 20.
Well, maybe.
How long can Eric get you to stay on the council?
Yeah.
I feel like if
He could
Eric
still be
stays,
there.
I feel like if Eric stays on the council, the last thing we'll have to worry about is whether that school is being maintained going
Oh
forward.
God! You know what?
They
Tom
fumbled,
Golden-
they
Tom
fumbled the
Golden's good
ball a
about
little
that
bit in the first 2 years, but I just feel like now, like Eric's not going to let them.
But
I'm sorry, Counselor Counselor.
it's amazing when you look at like, here's the vocational school, right? Is that vocational? Whatever you're supposed to call
It's
it.
the regional high school.
The Voc.
Technical regional high
The
school.
Voc. The home of the Griffins. That place, they don't have as much funding as Lowell High, I wouldn't think, right?
They don't need it.
Well, they're
And
not
the
as,
place, huh?
They're not as big, are they?
No.
No.
Well, no, they're
Yeah, no. They're
Probably half
like
the
what are
size,
they,
I would
like
guess.
1,200 students. I
Yeah,
think
so even
Lee
less
Gittier
than
said
half the
last
size,
time he was
yeah.
on.
all right. Well, either way, like, place is immaculate. The building's it's at least 40 years old. The grounds are beautiful.
Who's in charge of it?
Well, yeah.
Counselor Eric?
Well, yeah. But I mean, even before, I mean, they've had their shit. They haven't always had like great. They had their issues over there, right? But
But wait, look, in our day, you're a little younger than me. It was
oh no,
a
I
joke.
remember. I
It was
remember.
like when a kid would sit with 8th grade, they'd say, I'm not going to be back in 9th grade at Drake and Hamlin. Where you going? I'm going to the Voc, and it was always, you're going to the joke.
Yeah,
That was the running-
they've.
But what a
that
transition.
school is-
and now
made
it's a
such a-
legit educational.
Yeah.
option
Now you have to
as
fight.
well.
You have to
It's,
fight to get in there.
yeah.
Like really.
So they could do that there. It's the same communities, and you look at like, what the hell's going on over here?
Well, see, this is another thing, and I may want to save this for another discussion with Superintendent Liam Skinner, but they planned for a state-of-the-art high school. They've got a vocational school that has a wait list a mile long, and nobody planned to offer some type of shops in Lowell. like, can we put some shops? And Freddie Bahu has
Oh, that's
proposed
actually a good-
making some vocational programs.
That's
but that,
actually a
but
good
that would
one.
have to be in like whether it's marketing or certain other fields. You're not going to get an auto shop or a plumbing HVAC type.
They should do a building maintenance shop in the high
You can't
school.
though. You can't because Lowell has to. You can't get rid of like. You have to have all the students. You don't want some of these. You can't put some of these kids around a power saw.
Well, you just lock it. I don't know. You lock it.
These
It's a
kids, like-
specialized program.
No, you definitely can't be in this class because you come to school once every 6 months.
Well, when
You don't
kids used
understand
to,
the language, and you write on the wall with your own feces. You're allowed into school. Every day.
Okay, but
you don't
you-
want that. You don't want that kid running a power saw.
But what you were just talking about when kids, like the kids that, whatever, the joke, whatever, when it was back then, they had power saws in the school
Yes,
back
they
then and
did,
they
yeah.
did fine. So it can be done.
Yeah, but it was still you still had a little more control over who this. You could still kick kids out. You can't kick kids out of Lowell High. You can come into school and like do whatever the hell you want. You're not getting. You might get.
You know what would
punished for
kick a kid out is if they lost their hand on a power saw.
No, then you'd have to come back, and then you'd have to. They'd have to buy.
Graffiti becomes challenging if you lose your hand to a power saw.
No, but plus all the money they have to start spending on sporks.
Anyway, it would have been nice to have a little foresight when designing the high school and say, hey, how about we create some little
I agree with you.
some
That-
vocational training facilities
That would
in
have
there,
been cool.
and at the very least maybe another electrical outlet in the
They have a culinary school in the high school.
at Lowell High.
Yeah,
Do they?
do. They do. I'm pretty sure.
It's too bad there wasn't a building right across the street where a bank used to be that they could have put a building.
A lot of things are too bad. So we're wrapping up in a couple of minutes. You want to talk about your sustainability summit? April
Oh yeah,
5th,
it's April
2 weeks
5th.
away now,
Yep,
dude,
I
right?
know. And so we're accepting nominations through March 26th for a business or
next
a
Wednesday.
group. Next Wednesday, thank you. A business or a group or an individual that you think exemplifies sustainability in the city of Lowell.
Have I been nominated yet for my staunch support of the greatest electric car company on the planet? Do
You
think I
said
could
you
get a
would never
nomination?
drive an electric vehicle.
I know, but
so I'm sorry.
But I still defend the company and its right to exist.
You can nominate yourself, Teddy. You also
I can nominate myself?
You are. It is.
How many people vote?
How many people vote?
Yeah, on who gets the awards. What's the
Sustainability
committee?
Council votes. So
How many of you are there?
Oh, geez. There's like 9 of us. There's 9 of us now.
Oh, okay. So you have an odd number. That's good.
Yeah.
So do you think I'd get a vote?
I don't know, Teddy. It depends on it depends on how stiff your competition is.
Okay. Because I think my support of Elon Musk will really,
Right.
endear me.
Write us a convincing argument, and we will consider it.
Who was some of the past winners?
Lowell Litter Crew was last year.
Yeah.
UMass Lowell Sustainability, the Risk Sustainability Institute. Ruth and Gary Potwin was 2 very amazing,
nice people. Yeah.
amazing people that are local climate activists.
Melissa Shea, get one?
The Daily Middle. Well, when she was involved with the Daily Middle School, when she was involved with when the Daily Middle School put solar on, the students were activists.
You don't remember when
put solar on the roof.
she accepted the award? She rappelled down from the second balcony.
All right, we don't make fun of people. The winners will be acknowledged at a city council meeting as well, too. So,
all right, if I don't nominate myself, can I nominate the goats that UMass Lowell had chewing the lawn?
you can nominate whoever you want.
By the way,
It would be cool to bring those.
It would be
goats
cool
out
to bring those goats.
and
It
hand
depends.
them,
We got to see if they're available.
You know what? Forget the chickens, man. Let's bring in some goats.
Now you're talking. You're talking in my Greek heritage now.
I like the goat. We
Let's
love
bring
goats.
The little goats.
And
love
once they
goats.
age out, it's tremendous meat.
How much fun would it be to have like free ranging goats in Lowell taking care of all the like downtown
shrubbery?
goats? Yeah.
I would love that. You could have goat yoga. Goat yoga is
we
very
could set
popular.
them loose
Yeah.
on the baseball and softball fields.
Yeah.
They're good for tilling the land.
You know what? This is a great idea. And then if you want to feed the goats, you can get in your jet ski on the canal and go feed the goats. All these things together.
All right.
You could.
I like it.
You could.
All right. So sustainability
Yes.
awards. What do you call the award? Is there somebody it's like named after?
The
Is it
Sustainability
Mason?
Awards.
After
No.
Jay
Well,
Mason?
yeah, no.
How about the Hondas?
No,
Hondas
it's
McCarthy.
just the Sustainable Lowell Awards.
The Exxon Valdez Award for
We
great.
need to find a person to name them after.
All right,
Because in Lowell, we like to name them after people.
Yep. We'll find
So
someone.
who would be like our sustainability person?
Um,
It could be the Hyphens.
no.
The Hypies, we'll call
What
them.
about the Jay Mason Award?
That's
well,
it. Yeah.
I suggested the
He's
Mason, but
he's
I don't know.
exemplary. He is an exemplary climate
I'm
activist
going to
leader.
put you right up there with Jay. Don't sell yourself
I feel like
short.
it needs to be someone.
Oh, you can give away a hemp hyphen. It's the
No, we've got some good
The
awards.
award.
We got some good awards.
What is the award made of?
I'm not gonna give it
Is
away.
it made out of recyclable material?
No, it's made out of something better.
Really? Something better? There's something better than
We've
recyclable
designed
material?
it. What's it? We've
Coal?
designed it. Nope.
That's just cold sculpture.
No.
A piece of coal on a plastic.
You'll have to come down on April 5th and
In a
see
bucket
it.
basket bag.
You say we crash the awards on April 5th.
It's not crashing. You committed to coming. You're coming.
The public is invited?
Yes.
It's right across the street from the
Please
Athenian,
come
right?
join
Is that a
us.
Saturday?
It's a Saturday from
You're doing
11
it
to
at
2.
on LTC, right? On the first
We
floor.
have coffee and lunch, and we're gonna have a
God.
wonderful
We should go. That'd be
discussion.
Let's go.
We're gonna have
Let's go right into Saturday.
Yeah, we're gonna have a political panel. We ask candidates
Who's
for
on the
stuff.
political panel?
We're getting RSVPs now, so
Well, like
We're
you
gonna
talking about local politics, like Lowell City Councils, or are we talking
like city
We're talking
councilors,
like
school.
Elizabeth Warren, Ed
no,
Markey,
no,
no?
school committee. Like we're hoping to get Senator Kennedy and some representatives. So
So a green business,
Wait,
huh?
wait,
Is that
Senator
what?
Kennedy.
yeah, Ed Kennedy's coming.
Oh, the state senator.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was thinking of.
What? I don't think he's coming.
Yeah, I don't think JFK or RFK.
No. But we'll see. We'll see whoever wants to come and show off because there's a lot of bragging to do about what we've accomplished as a city. Catherine Mosick, the sustainability director, is going to be our keynote speaker.
Why don't you invite AOC? Because she's doing a barnstorming tour with Ed Markey.
I'll invite
yeah,
her.
let's-
We'll do
Imagine,
it.
I would love to have
Ed Markey,
AOC in Lowell.
Ed
That
Markey would
great.
be a dream to have Ed Markey. I love
I
him.
know,
You know
screw
the-
Ed Markey. AOC. That's the big
draw.
fish to
All
land.
right, we'll see.
The Old Court buys a lot of their greens from Chris Horn, who does
That would be, yep.
like Horn Family Farms.
Yep,
They support
local agriculture. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh,
you can nominate, you can nominate Horn Family Farms.
there you go.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right.
Let's get your nominations
How do you do the
in.
nomination? Like, how do you
Thank
do it?
you for asking. There's a Facebook event, Lowell Sustainability Council Facebook page, and there's a Facebook event. We've shared it on like Lowell Live feed and all this stuff. So I've shared it too. So it's if you want to nominate someone, use the nomination form that's in the summit event notes.
All right.
Yeah.
And we can't end our
Oh,
pod squad.
by the way, that horse is racing on that April 5th.
April 5th.
Oh, the Lowell horse?
Keeneland, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
Chancellor
it?
McPatrick finished
Oh.
second.
Yeah.
in,
What time is the race?
Probably going to be like
Late,
5:30.
Oh, so it's after the summit. So we can
Yes.
go from the summit.
We'll
to
just
the-
keep going.
I
We'll
love
have to
it.
find something to do in the 4 hours in between.
We'll
I can only imagine.
figure it out.
I didn't get a sitter for that day.
Figure it out.
And before we bid everybody adieu for the week and the
Yeah.
weekend, we need the Honduras hug. We need to end. There's been a lot of hostility, especially the first part of this podcast,
Yeah.
But we always end on a high note. Remember that we all love each other
Yes.
and we all just want what's best for our city, our state, our country, and our planet.
You did it. I don't have to do anything.
So what
Well, yeah, I would reiterate that, like, being able to talk to people with different opinions and get as heated as you want, but at the end of the day, you can still agree to disagree and respect each other and have good conversations and learn from each other. And it's the day after the equinox, the spring equinox
it's officially
was
spring.
yesterday.
Oh, yeah, spring has sprung.
Spring has sprung.
So we are now out of the winter and we are into the spring, and the days are getting longer, not shorter.
Muffin top days already happened.
Muffin top day has already happened. We had a really nice day. And yeah, this is the time. So this is like the new year time. Like this is when you kind of like make plans for the next year ahead. I think that it starts, April. The Cambodian New Year is coming up. So use this as a time to, set good intentions, because the world is a crazy place, and just try to be your best self all the time.
Hope springs eternal.
Springs eternal, yes.
All right, let's
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yes. Yes.
The golden
Cult
palm
18,
palm.
baby. Cult
Yes.
18.
Cult 18.
Yes, yes.
Michaela Hondas McCarthy, Mike Pacigalupo. Always fun. How many people do you think we pissed off today?
I don't know.
I'm one.
I see.
At least one.
We didn't even have to go outside the room to get one. But I look forward to seeing the social media posts after.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, so thank you. Have a great weekend. Stop on by. We'll share a pop this week.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Thank you to Michaela. Thank you to Batch. Thanks to you as well for joining us here on the Daily Pulse. Next week, we got another big week planned for you. City Councilor Rita Mercier will be here.
Oh,
the
nice.
Dean of the City Council, Leslie Boder, will be here. We got a bunch of other surprises for you as well. So till then, everybody, have yourself a great day. Have yourself a great weekend, and I'll catch you on the other side.